So the functional megaspore, in a majority of the flowering plants, one of the megaspore is functional while the other three degenerate, right? So the functional megaspore that develop into female gametophyte, that is called as embryo sac. The functional megaspore that develop into female gametophyte, that is called as embryo sac. And this method of embryo sac formation from the single megaspore is termed as monosporic development. Monosporic development means the single megaspore is formed, right? So that is called as monosporic development. The nucleus of the functional megaspore divides mitotically to form the two nuclei, while the other move to the opposite poles, forming the two nucleate embryo sac. So the functional megaspore, let just imagine this is the functional megaspore. The nucleus of the functional megaspore that will divide mitotically and form the two nuclear stage, that is two nucleate embryo sac. Then again two more sequential divisions. So in the diagram you can see that again two more sequential division. So this is the function, just imagine this is the functional megaspore which undergo the mitosis and form the two nucleate embryo sac. Again it undergo the further two mitosis cell division and form the 4 nucleate embryo sac, then 8 nucleate embryo sac. After this stage, so there is an arrangement of this nucleus within the cell takes place. So arrangement, how the arrangement of this nucleus within the embryo sac takes place, see here, which forms the 8 nucleate embryo sac. See here, total 8 nucleus are present, that is called as 8 nucleate embryo sac. So after the arrangement of this nucleus, the three cells which move towards the micropylar region, and here the cell wall formation takes place around the nucleus and two at the center, and three are at the chalazal end, right? So here the mature embryo sac that contain the mature embryo sac, see here, there is a characteristic distribution of the cells within the embryo sac. So three cells are grouped together at the micropylar and constitute the egg apparatus. The three cells are grouped together at the micropylar region and which constitute the egg apparatus. And the egg apparatus in turn consists of two synergids and one egg cell. See here in the embryo sac, the three cells grouped together at the micropylar region, so that is called as egg apparatus, which contain two synergids and the one egg cell. So that is in the mature embryo sac. Then the synergids have special cellular thickenings at the micropylar tip called filiform apparatus, which play an important role in guiding the pollen tubes into synergid. Three cells are at the chalazal end and are called as antipodals. So the large central cell, as mentioned earlier, has two polar nuclei. Thus, the typical angiosperm embryo sac at maturity, it is called as 8 nucleate and the 7 cell stage, because at the center two nucleus, so that is surrounded by a cell wall, two nucleus, but so that is the single cell, so it is called as 8 nucleate and the 7 celled stage. So here at the chalazal end 3 antipodals and at the micropylar end 3 egg apparatus at the central cell. Totally it is called as 8 nucleate 7 celled stage of the embryo sac. Thank you.